Hi there, I'm Darcy Monette, and I'm an integrative health and wellness coach and owner of Health and Fitness by Design. And I just want to do a little video today on, first of all, giving you a little bit of my backstory, and secondly, giving you some tools for goal setting. Goal setting in my coaching practice is hugely important, but I think in life it's hugely important if we want to change and we want to make progress. So a little bit about my backstory. I have had issues with food my whole life, I feel like, as long as I can remember. I, in 8th grade, 9th grade, struggled with anorexia. As I got older, it was more binge eating, and how I managed binge eating is I exercised all the time. So that obviously was another addiction. So as I got older, I educated myself, I read books, I tried to get healthier, and some things stuck, some things didn't. I got married, I had a couple of kids, I had a daughter and a son, and having this little baby girl, I thought, I do not want her to have to go through the struggles that I have gone through. I need to get healthy and I need to deal with my stuff. So I went through the process of what felt like a hugely intensive program called Celebrate Recovery, and I was in it specifically to deal with my food issues. Of course, as we know, a lot of other things come up with that. It's not like going through that cured me, but it set me on a healthier journey. And even to this day, I continue to work on how to make food something that's nourishing in my life, that brings me peace, that brings me joy, that brings me happiness without the extremes. Food is a hard one because it's all gray area. It's not like alcohol where you drink or you don't drink. It's not like drugs where you do them or you don't. You have to eat to survive. So coming to terms with that and figuring out what sobriety in that area meant to me was a huge journey. So one of the things years ago, so my children right now are 13 and 11, and I was involved in a MOPS program. And if you don't know what MOPS is, it stands for Mothers of Preschoolers, and they usually have a wonderful breakfast. You can leave your kids in childcare. You get to visit with other ladies. They usually have a topical speaker, sometimes a craft. So this one that I went to, my kids were little, probably 1 and 3, and I was a little crazy at the time. But she was talking about goal setting, and it just so resonated with me. It was so powerful that I have used it ever since. And I use it in my goal setting with my clients. So I just wanted to share some of it with you. I don't know if it's my age or the fact that I've had children, but I can't remember. I can't just speak it. I have to look at my notes, so bear with me. So the acronym that I run all the goals setting through when I'm working with clients or myself is a SMART acronym. Many of you may have heard this. Maybe it's new to you. I'm going to break it down a little bit for you. The S in the SMART acronym stands for specific or significant. Now, really think about that. Why would a goal have to be significant? If it's not significant, why bother? Why is it going to have any weight to change you? And how you get to that specificity is to keep asking yourself, why? Why? If you want to say, okay, I want to eat healthier. Why do you want to eat healthier? Well, I want to eat healthier so I feel better. Why do you want to feel better? Well, I want to feel better so I have more energy. Why do you want more energy? I want to have more energy so I can go on hikes with my husband, or so I can ride my bike with my grandkids. Those are what you want to get down to, so real specific. And in there, you'll find your significance. So that's the first one. The next one is the M, and that's for, very similar to the first one. It's for measure. Well, the second one is very similar to the first one. First is measurable. Is it measurable? Can you measure it? Or is it just kind of this broad out there thing? The other one is it meaningful? So again, is it significant? Is it meaningful? Does it have some real power in your life for why you want it? The A has 3 things. First one is it attainable? Are you saying, I want to be down to 100 pounds. When was the last time you were 100 pounds? Oh, in 8th grade? Well, that's probably not attainable anymore. action oriented. Here's where you get your specific action steps. How do I get to that goal? List them out. A, B, C. What do I do to get there? The other one, is it achievable? Very similar to attainable. Is it something that I can say, yes, I can absolutely achieve it. I can see where we're going with it. Okay, that's the A. The R is relevant. Is it relevant? Does it really have any relevance in your life? Does it connect you? Does it feed your soul? Is it realistic? Again, kind of like the attainable. Is it realistic? Is this something that you want to run a marathon, but you've had a knee replacement? I don't know if that's realistic. Why don't we take it down? Rewarding. This is a huge one for the R. Is it rewarding? Is it something where just in setting the goal itself and attaining it, are you going to feel that reward? The last one, the T, is time-bound or trackable. Now, this is a really important one because if you say, you know what, I want to add more vegetables into my diet. Again, very broad, not specific, so we'd work on those things. But also, if you put a time on it, say, every day by the end of this month, every day, I want to have 2 of my meals having vegetables in it. So much more defined and trackable. You can see it. It's black and white right in front of you. Or green and white if it's vegetables that we're talking about. So that's that one. Some of the things that I have found that have helped me be successful in then keeping the goals are when you write them, make them into positive statements. So instead of saying, I won't have dessert, or I will never have sugar, why don't you say, I will have a treat on Sundays. Well, then you just allowed yourself that. And that's kind of fun. You can look forward to that. So try to make them into positive instead of negative. Instead of saying, I won't watch TV at night, say, I'll go on a walk with my wife 3 nights a week. That sounds so much better, doesn't it? So something like that. The other thing, write it down. This is 2 parts. Write it down multiple times. Put it everywhere. Put it in your car, put it on your mirror, put it on your remote control, put it on your front door, put it on your fridge, wherever you see it multiple times, because that starts changing your brain. But also, after you write it down, share it with somebody. You share it with someone, all of a sudden, you have some built-in accountability. And that's powerful because they're kind of watching you to see if you're doing your goals, and they maybe can ask you. If you're comfortable with them asking you about how you're doing on your goals, tell them that. Say, hey, I'm doing this. Here's where they're at. Here's what I'm doing. Feel free to ask me. A lot of power in that. The other thing is focus on action things instead of outcome. How did I get there? Not am I there now? And then you get rewards and you get some positive feedback from reaching those action steps. The other one is really make a pact to yourself to change rather than simply a desire to do it. We have such high integrity for everybody else. I'll keep that appointment. I'll keep this appointment. I'll keep that promise to that person, but I won't keep the promise to myself. You do that enough times, your brain starts knowing when you write that down, it's already making plans to not keep that promise. So really make that pact to have total integrity with yourself, okay? The other one, I love this one, probably because I have been accused of being like a 12-year-old. Reward yourself for the minor victories. Reward, reward, reward. Figure out what you want your reward to do for hitting that victory. And then do it. Again, keep that integrity to yourself and do that reward. That's where the power is. If you know you're really not going to reward yourself, you've broken a promise to yourself. There's not as much power in it. Get support. Get support. You start talking about this, you're going to have a friend who says, I want to do some goals, even if they're not the same things. Even if they're not the same goals, they might still have their own that you can be accountable for. And it's always more fun to do things with a friend. This is another one that is a huge one for me. If setbacks happen, and they do, we're not successful all the time. We're just not. But understand that this is an experiment. Everything you're doing is an experiment. And you're going to fail. And then you regroup and you move on. So don't dwell on the setbacks. See them as part of that experiment and move on. Make a U-turn, make a good choice at your next opportunity, and move on. Don't throw in the towel and be done with it. That's a really important one. So, that's what I have for those in my coaching practice. We spend one whole session, the very first session, really fine-tuning your goals. I'm going to have a link on my website where you can get some of this information. Also, get that SMART acronym with the little definitions. If you need any help, you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And I would love to chat with you and find out what's going on. All right. Thank you. Enjoy wherever you're at today, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Just take a moment and just be present and be there. All right. Thanks.